Hello, today this video is about Belle's dresses in both the 1991 and 2017 Beauty and the Beast movies. Belle was my favorite Disney princess when I was little, which is unsurprising as she is a white girl with brown hair who enjoyed reading. I grew up watching the animated version and I loved the dresses, and so I thought a video comparing the live action and the animated movies would be fun. I was super excited to watch the 2017 live action Beauty and the Beast when it came out. I was really hoping it would live up to my expectations of this childhood movie that I loved, but unfortunately, as many of you probably know, the iconic yellow dress did not live up to expectations and may be the worst live-action Disney costume. I would also like to give some credit to the YouTube channel Modern Girls, who made a video similar to this but with Cinderella's dresses. I'll only be doing the Disney versions, but the video did definitely sort of inspire my idea, so credit to them. The movies both take place in 18th century France. The fashion for a high-class woman at the time was very fancy and detailed, which you can see here. For comparison, Marie Antoinette was born in 1755 and became Queen of France in 1774. She was very well known for her fashion and lavishness, obviously. Unfortunately, we don't get to see much of that historical accuracy in these movies, a little bit more in the live-action one, but I'm not judging the dresses on historical accuracy. This is pretty much just my opinions, what I think. I'm going to tell you about the dresses, and then I'm going to compare them and tell you which dresses I like the best. In the 1991 Beauty and the Beast, Belle only wears 4 dresses in the entire movie. There's a ton of concept art from the animated movie, and they show early versions of Belle. Some of them even feature a more historically accurate dress. There are these ones, which is a really pretty version of the yellow dress that they obviously didn't end up using. There are also a few that seem to have dresses from an earlier time period. As the movie is based on little historical inspiration, I probably won't talk about the accuracy very much. There are even background costumes that are from, like, the medieval times, which is not when the 18th century was. It was funny when I was rewatching and I noticed. The first dress that Belle wears is a puffy-sleeved white blouse with a sleeveless blue dress and a white apron over top. She wears brown ballet flats, a white petticoat, and a matching blue bow in her hair. We also see Belle wearing a dark blue cloak, which appears throughout the movie. Again, I would use historical terms for these clothing items, but I don't know what I would call them, because, like I already said, they're not really based in that much historical accuracy, so I am sorry about that. The second dress that Belle wears in the animated movie is a green one. It has ballet flats and matching ribbon in her hair again. The dress has long sleeves and the skirt reaches the ground. Belle wears the green dress outside in the snow and when she is given her library. Belle next wears a long pink dress. It has a ruffled hemline and ruffled sleeves, or at least I think that's what they're going for. She also has a matching bow in her hair and red ballet flats. She wears the pink dress with a red cloak that has a fluffy collar. I always loved the pink dress when I was little, probably because pink is my favorite color, but I remember it very vividly. It's very nostalgic for me. I'm not saying it's based on it, but the color and the sleeves and the neckline of the dress are very reminiscent of Princess Aurora's pink dress from Sleeping Beauty, and I thought that was interesting. I don't know, like, if that's just me liking Disney a lot, or if it's like an actual thing, but I definitely noticed. The last dress that Belle wears is her yellow ball gown. It has off-the-shoulder sleeves, a long, wide skirt with these ribbons sort of draping around it. Looks like there's a very big ruffled petticoat under the skirt. The sleeves in the skirt are a paler color of yellow than the bodice and the ribbons. She's wearing her hair half up and half down with a yellow ribbon. She has yellow ballet flats and yellow pearl earrings. It's clearly not historically accurate. It doesn't match the crazy wide court dresses that women at the time would wear, but her dress is very iconic and again very nostalgic for me, so I'm not complaining. In the 2017 live-action Beauty and the Beast, Belle wears considerably more outfits, but a lot of them are just a combination of a couple pieces that she owns. The costumes are designed by Jacqueline Durran, who you might know as the woman that designed the iconic green dress from Atonement. Jacqueline Durran is a very good costume designer, and I feel like most of her costumes are either hit or miss. You either think they're amazing or you have a lot of problems with them, and this movie I definitely have more problems with, unfortunately, but Jacqueline Durran is an amazing costume designer, and I'm not going to say that she isn't. It seems that Emma Watson actually had a lot of input into what Jacqueline Durran designed, so that means that Belle isn't wearing a corset or stays, which is what they actually would be called, which is unfortunate. No historical accuracy, I guess. I'm not gonna blame it on Emma Watson, though. I don't think she really knows what corsets were used for. There are plenty of videos and articles and stuff that you can find explaining why corsets maybe aren't exactly what most people think they are. They weren't like restrictive torture devices used on women, they were just undergarments. There's supposed to be a feminist twist on her costumes and her character. While I appreciate the thought, the movie as a whole just failed its goal from not changing the actual issues people had with Belle and Beast's relationship to their poor attempt at representation. But that's not what this video is about. We are talking about the costumes. First, we see Belle wearing her recognizable blue village dress. It has a white shirt with quarter-length sleeves and a white fichu tucked into her bodice. I think that's how it's pronounced. The bodice is blue with some red details and is tied together at the side. She's also wearing a blue apron. Continuing with the feminist theme that Emma Watson and Jacqueline Duran wanted, Belle's outfit is supposed to reflect that she is an active heroine. She's wearing boots so that she can run around and go adventuring. Her blue and white skirts are tucked up to her waist to reveal that she's actually wearing bloomers, and she's also wearing pockets. While the pockets are actually historically accurate, women at the time would have worn them on the inside of the dress, not the outside, but I do think it's a cool detail that adds something to her costume. I've seen a lot of people who dislike Belle's weird skirt sort of being tucked up to reveal her bloomers, but honestly, I actually like it. Belle's costumes are supposed to be weird. Belle is weird. She's out of the ordinary, which is like the whole theme of the movie, I guess. And I like the bloomers. I think they're pretty, although I don't believe that those are historically accurate. But it doesn't have to be historically accurate for the idea behind it to be good or genuine or to make sense. However, I don't like the fact that Emma Watson was so insistent on Belle not wearing a corset, or stays actually. While she can do whatever she wants, that's whatever. The bodice ends up looking kind of weird and lumpy, which a lot of other people have pointed out. So it would have definitely looked better if she had worn some sort of corset or stays underneath it. It's unfortunate that she just thought so badly of them that she didn't want to. But this is probably my favorite outfit she wears in the whole live action movie. It's practical, and I think the handmade look that it has to it is very cute. So I think that Jacqueline Duran did a good job designing this outfit. I like that we can see what Belle's character is like through her clothes. I think that was a really cool thing to do. Over top the blue dress, she wears this white jacket with blue designs of stripes and flowers and birds. I believe it's either called a Krakow jacket or a Kasakin jacket. It also looks like she has taken off the fichu underneath. She also is wearing just like toms, just like, you know, the modern flat toms. Like, I think the boots were better. She's full on just wearing, I didn't notice this the first time I watched it, but I was looking through it again and she's just wearing toms. I wouldn't have talked about the shoes if I hadn't noticed, but I don't know why. She then wears another Krakow or Kazakin jacket over top, but this time the jacket is blue with stripes and geometric designs tied up in the front with a red ribbon. The inside of the jacket is also red. Her skirt is pulled up again and she's wearing her boots. Over top that outfit, she wears a dark gray-brown heavy coat. It has very lovely rose details on the inside of the hood and along the hem that I really like. Her skirt is still pulled up, but like, it's snowing now? Is she not cold? When we see Belle in her blue dress again, we see that she's started to mix pieces of clothing. The dress is similar to her first one, but the bodice is white with roses and a white apron over top of her skirt. The fabric of the bodice is actually embroidered by Kasam and Juma, two brothers from India. I am so sorry if I am pronouncing things wrong. I really am trying my best. But you can see them here. A couple other fabrics from the film are also from India and Nepal, although I'm not quite sure which ones. The interviews that I found didn't really specify which fabrics. I think part of the red cloak might be that she wears later in the film, but I'm not completely sure which fabrics are from Nepal and India and which ones are sort of recreations of that. Over top of this blue dress, she wears a knit gray shawl, but it's just for one scene, very short. She's in the snow. She's finally learned how to dress warmly. The next variation of the blue dress has a plain blue bodice, the same skirt that we just saw her in, as well as the same white apron. She's once again wearing a white fichu. She also has her hair tied up with a blue ribbon. The last variation of the blue dress that we see Belle in has a bit more color with pink and red details. She has a floral pattern jacket tied behind her back as well as a pink neckerchief. The skirt and apron are the same as the last outfit. Belle also has her hair up with a blue ribbon headband. We first see this outfit with Belle's red cloak, which I will talk about in a second. This isn't quite an outfit, but for a few seconds we see Belle jokingly put in a bright pink rococo dress. It's messy and not completely put together, and we don't really get a good look at it, but it has wide hips, pleats in the back, and a ton of details, ribbons, bows all over. I thought it was a funny nod to the actual fashion of the time, but it might be a better joke if the rest of the costumes managed to look this good. Belle also wears a pink and red outfit, but only for a few scenes. Has a similar white blouse and bodice, but the bodice is dark pink red. Her skirt is pink and she's wearing either the same or a similar apron. She's a pink kaku or casquine jacket on with stripes on the inside, and this is where we first see the red cloak. It has a white hem with red designs. The coolest thing about this outfit is that it was made sustainably. They use sustainable fabrics with vegetable dyes and eco leather, which is very cool. And now, the infamous yellow dress. Watching the movie for the first time, I tried to convince myself that I liked the dress, however I was lying to myself, and honestly I need to stop trying to find something I like about the dress because it's not going to happen. The dress is bright yellow, the bodice has some detailing on it with short cap sleeves. I hate cap sleeves. The skirt has these tiered layers that are placed weird and they look strange with the silhouette of the dress. My sister calls it the banana dress. Jacqueline Duran said that they put printed gold leaf onto the dress as well as embedded glitter and Swarovski crystals in the motifs, which is very fancy. It's unfortunate it was wasted on this costume. Belle has these strange ear cuff earrings on. I don't know what they were going for, but they don't match the aesthetic of the movie. They keep trying to put these weird modern aspects into the costumes, but they don't work. They end up making it look really confusing, and I don't like it. The saddest part of the dress to me is that it's not swirly enough. It only looks like a ball gown when she's running around, and it sort of flares out. They put so much effort into this dress, testing all the yellow colors on camera and making sure Emma Watson felt comfortable in it, but it just didn't turn out, and I almost feel bad. I wish they had either gone full historically accurate or just completely recreated the animated look. I think either of those options would have been better than the weird combination that they ended up with. Side note, how did she do this? This doesn't make any sense. How did she do that? Belle takes off her yellow dress and we get to see what she was wearing underneath, which is obviously not a corset or a pair of stays. In place of stays, she has a pale, unstructured bodice that looks almost exactly like everything she's been wearing on the outside of her costumes the rest of the movie, just in a pale white color. She also has a chemise on, but it's tight and has cap sleeves. Again, to me, it looks very modern and not in a good way. They tried to put pretty gold details on the skirt, but it kind of just ended up looking like the skirt was dirty or ruined, and it doesn't look very good. Although the skirt is tucked up again so that she can run around, and that is something that I do actually like, so that's one good thing, I guess. Lastly, we see Belle in her wedding dress. It's white with pink flowers all over it. They sort of come off of the dress, which I think is kind of cool. The sleeves, for the first time in the movie, actually resemble something that someone would have maybe worn in the 18th century. The skirt on this dress is definitely better than the yellow one. It does have a bit of that wide silhouette I'm looking for. Honestly, I think this dress is very pretty. I'm not going to lie, I do like it. I don't think it fits in very well with the movie. It has something very 1950s about it, but it's not as bad as the yellow dress, so it can stay. Also, you know that scene where the prince growls? I'm not going to put it in because I refuse to edit that into my video, but hate it so badly. I wish they hadn't done that. I hate it. Obviously, there are more live-action costumes than animated costumes. The animated movie came out in 1991, so I'm not expecting them to create a full wardrobe as they could for the 2017 live-action one, but just a side note, that's not going to stop me from comparing them. Both of the blue dresses are iconic, and I do really like both of them. The animated one and the live-action one look very similar, even with the different combinations the live-action one has. There's one in particular that looks a lot like the one that Belle has in the animated movie, and I thought that was pretty cool. The details in the live-action one are all cool. I really like how they interpreted the animated one to a live-action costume. They're both great. I think the blue costume is probably the best animated to live action costume that they had in the 2017 movie. I love the original animated dress. I love it so much, but the historical elements and interesting sort of handmade details on the live action dress make it a little bit more interesting for me, even if she isn't wearing a corset or stays. Unfortunately, the green dress is cut completely out of the live-action film, which is kind of disappointing. You think with Belle living in this big fancy castle, she'd be able to find a few other things to wear, bodices and skirts that she seemingly made herself. The only kind of comparison I have is the pink dress that she wears. She both wears them in the castle. That's kind of a stretch, I'm aware. Since there's only one green dress, and I am sad that they cut the green dress from the live-action movie, obviously the animated green dress wins. There's no comparison, so there's only one winner. The pink dress in the original movie, like I said, is one of my favorites. In the live action, they changed the silhouette to match her blue dresses, which I guess makes sense, but I wish we got to see her in a few more types of dresses in the live action because they clearly have that sort of creative freedom. They could have done that, but they didn't. The adaptation from the animated to the live action isn't as accurate as the blue dress, and the red cloak is probably the strongest similarity between the two dresses. As much as I love the historical elements and the sustainable aspect of the live action pink dress, the animated pink dress is just so nostalgic for me, it has to win. The live action recreation of the yellow dress tried its best. It really did. It tried to pay tribute to the animated dress while adding in historical aspects, but it failed pretty badly. Maybe it was just never going to be possible to create something as iconic as Belle's yellow gown again. Obviously, the animated yellow gown wins. No competition. The animated dress is just so much better than the live action one. There is no wedding dress in the animated version, although I really wish there was. In the 1991 film, they just reused the yellow dress at the end when she and the prince are dancing around. This is a scene where there's a bunch of people in like medieval clothes, not 18th century clothes. Interesting decision. While the yellow dress remains iconic, I wish we could have seen the animated Belle in a wedding dress. It would have been very nice. Clearly without an animated version, there is no competitor, there's no winner. I guess you could say the wedding dress is a winner, but like she's still up against the yellow dress and nothing beats the yellow dress. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry, it was mostly just my personal opinions and childhood nostalgia. Making this video and getting to rewatch one of my favorite childhood movies was very enjoyable, and although I usually tend to focus and look into 19th and 20th century fashion, this was very interesting for me and very fun. Give me suggestions if you want to, subscribe or like if you want to, and I will hopefully be back soon with another video. Thank you for watching. Bye!